May our Father, Messiah, and the Holy Spirit be with us, brothers and sisters. I pray that you are all well. We will be continuing with the book of the prophet Ezekiel, chapter 1. Now it came to pass in the 13th year, in the 4th month, in the 5th day of the month, as I was among the captives by the river of Chebar, that the heavens were opened, and I saw visions of our Father in heaven. In the 5th day of the month, which was the 5th year of King Jehoiachin's captivity, the word of our Father in heaven came expressly to Ezekiel, the priest, the son of Buzi, in the land of the Chaldeans, by the river Chebar. And the hand of our Father in heaven was there upon him. And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud, and a fire enfolding itself, and a brightness was about it. And out of the midst thereof, as the color of amber, out of the midst of the fire, also out of the midst thereof came the likeness of 4 living creatures, and this was their appearance. They had the likeness of a man, and every one had 4 faces, and every one had 4 wings, and their feet were straight feet. And the sole of their feet was like the sole of a calf's foot, and they sparkled like the color of burnished brass. And they had the hands of a man under their wings on their 4 sides, and they 4 had their faces and their wings. Their wings were joined one to another. They turned not when they went. They went every one straight forward. As for the likeness of their faces, they 4 had the face of a man, and the face of a lion on the right side, and they 4 had the face of an ox on the left side. They 4 also had the face of an eagle. This were their faces, and their wings were stretched upward. 2 wings of every one were joined one to another, and 2 covered their bodies. And they went every one straight forward. Whether the spirit was to go, they went, and they turned not when they went. As for the likeness of the living creatures, their appearance was like burning coals of fire. And like the appearance of lamps, it went up and down among the living creatures, and the fire was bright, and out of the fire went forth lightning, and the living creatures ran and returned as the appearance of a flash of lightning. Now as I beheld the living creatures, behold, one wheel upon the earth by the living creatures with his 4 faces. The appearance of the wheels and their work was like to the color of a beryl, and they 4 had one likeness, and their appearance and their work was as it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel. When they went upon their 4 sides, and they turned not when they went. As for their rings, they were so high that they were dreadful, and their rings were full of eyes round about them 4. And when the living creatures went, the wheels went by them. And when the living creatures were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up. Whithersoever the spirit was to go, they went. Thither was their spirit to go, and the wheels were lifted up over against them. For the spirit of the living creature was in the wheels. When those went, these went. And when those stood, these stood. And when those were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up over against them. For the spirit of the living creature was in the wheels. And the likeness of the firmament upon the heads of the living creature was as the color of the terrible crystal stretched forth over their heads above. And under the firmament were their wings straight, the one toward the other. Every one had 2, which covered on this side, and every one had 2 which covered on that side, their bodies. And when they went, I heard the noise of their wings, like the noise of great waters, as the voice of the Almighty, the voice of speech, as the noise of a host. When they stood, they let down their wings, And there was a voice from the firmament that was over their heads when they stood and had let down their wings. And above the firmament that was over their heads was the likeness of a throne, as the appearance of a sapphire stone, and upon the likeness of the throne was the likeness as the appearance of a man above upon it. And I saw the color of amber, as the appearance of fire round about within it, from the appearance of his loins even upward, and from the appearance of his loins even downward. I saw as it were the appearance of fire, and it had brightness round about, as the appearance of the bow, that it is in the cloud in the day of rain. So was the appearance of the brightness round about. That was the appearance of the likeness of the glory of our Father in heaven. And when I saw it, I fell upon my face, and I heard a voice of one that spake. Chapter 2. And he said to me, Son of man, stand upon your feet, and I will speak to you. And the Spirit entered into me when he spake to me, and set me upon my feet, that I heard him that spake to me. And he said to me, Son of man, I send you to the children of Israel, to a rebellious nation that has rebelled against me. They and their fathers have transgressed against me, even to this very day. For they are impudent children and stiff-hearted. I do send you to them. And you will say to them, This says our Father in heaven. And they, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear, for they are a rebellious house, yet will know that there has been a prophet among them. And you, Son of man, be not afraid of them, neither be afraid of their words, though briars and thorns be with you, and you do dwell among scorpions. Be not afraid of their words, nor dismayed at their looks, though they be a rebellious house. And you will speak my words to them, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear, for they are most rebellious. But you, Son of man, hear what I say to you. Be not you rebellious, like that rebellious house. Open your mouth and eat that I give you. And when I looked, behold, an hand was sent to me, and lo, a roll of a book was therein. And he spread it before me, and it was written within and without, and there was written therein lamentations and mourning and woe. Chapter 3. Moreover, he said to me, Son of man, eat that you find. Eat this roll, and go speak to the house of Israel. So I opened my mouth, and he caused me to eat that roll. And he said to me, Son of man, cause your belly to eat, and fill your bowels with this roll that I give you. Then did I eat it, and it was in my mouth as honey for sweetness. And he said to me, Son of man, go, get you to the house of Israel, and speak with my words to them. For you are not sent to a people of a strange speech and of an hard language, but to the house of Israel. Not to many people of a strange speech and of an hard language, whose words you cannot understand. Surely, had I sent you to them, they would have hearkened to you. But the house of Israel will not hearken to you, for they will not hearken to me. For all the house of Israel are impudent and hard-hearted. Behold, I have made your face strong against their faces, and your forehead strong against their foreheads. As an adamant harder than flint have I made your forehead. Fear them not, neither be dismayed at their looks, though they be a rebellious house. Moreover, he said to me, Son of man, all my words that I will speak to you, receive in your heart, and hear with your ears, and go. Get you to them of the captivity, to the children of your people, and speak to them, and tell them, This says our Father in heaven, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear. Then the Spirit took me up, and I heard behind me a voice of a great rushing, saying, Blessed be the glory of our Father in heaven from his place. I heard also the noise of the wings of the living creatures that touched one another, and the noise of the wheels over against them. and a noise of a great rushing. So the Spirit lifted me up and took me away, and I went in bitterness, in the heat of my spirit. But the hand of our Father in heaven was strong upon me. Then I came to them of the captivity of Telabib, that dwelt by the river of Kabar. And I sat where they sat, and remained there astonished among them 7 days. And it came to pass at the end of 7 days that the word of our Father in heaven came to me, saying, Son of man, I have made you a watchman to the house of Israel. Therefore, hear the word at my mouth, and give them warning from me. When I say to the wicked, You will surely die, and you give him not warning, nor speak to warn the wicked from his wicked way, to save his life, the same wicked man will die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at your hand. Yet if you warn the wicked, and he turn not from his wickedness, nor from his wicked way, he will die in his iniquity, but you have delivered your soul. Again, when a righteous man does turn from his righteousness and commit iniquity, and I lay a stumbling block before him, he will die. Because you have not given him warning, he will die in his sin, and his righteousness, which he has done, will not be remembered, but his blood will I require at your hand. Nevertheless, if you warn the righteous man that the righteous sin not, and he does not sin, he will surely live, because he is warned. Also you have delivered your soul. And the hand of our Father in heaven was there upon me, and he said to me, Arise, go forth into the plain, and I will there talk with you. Then I arose, and went forth into the plain, and behold, the glory of our Father in heaven stood there, as the glory which I saw by the river of Kabar, and I fell on my face. Then the Spirit entered into me, and set me upon my feet, and spake with me, and said to me, Go shut yourself within your house. But you, O Son of Man, behold, they will put bands upon you, and will bind you with them, and you will not go out among them. And I will make your tongue cleave to the roof of your mouth, that you will be dumb, and will not be to them a reprover, for they are a rebellious house. But when I speak with you, I will open your mouth, and you will say to them, This says our Father in heaven. He that hears, let him hear, and he that forbears, let him forbear, for they are a rebellious house. Chapter 4. You also, Son of man, take you a tile, and lay it before you, and portray upon it the city, even Jerusalem, and lay siege against it, and build a fort against it, and cast a mount against it. Set the camp also against it, and set battering rams against it round about. Moreover, take you an iron pan, and set it for a wall of iron between you and the city, and set your face against it, and it will be besieged, and you will lay siege against it. This will be a sign to the house of Israel. Lie you also upon your left side, and lay the iniquity of the house of Israel upon it. According to the number of the days that you will lie upon it, you will bear their iniquity. For I have laid upon you the years of their iniquity, according to the number of the days, 390 days. So will you bear the iniquity of the house of Israel. And when you have accomplished them, lie again on your right side, and you will bear the iniquity of the house of Judah 40 days. And I have appointed you each day for a year. Therefore you will set your face toward the siege of Jerusalem, and your arm will be uncovered, and you will prophesy against it. And behold, I will lay bands upon you, and you will not turn you from one side to another, till you have ended the days of your siege. Take you also to you wheat and barley and beans and lentils and millet and fitches, and put them in one vessel, and make you bread thereof, according to the number of the days that you will lie upon your side. 390 days will you eat thereof. And your meat, which you will eat, will be by weight, 20 shekels a day. From time to time will you eat it. You will drink also water by measure, the sixth part of an hin. From time to time will you drink. And you will eat it as barley cakes, and you will bake it with dung that comes out of man in their sight. And our father said, even this will the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles, whether I will drive them. Then said I, Ah, Father, behold, my soul has not been polluted, for from my youth up even till now have I not eaten of that which dies of itself, or is torn in pieces, neither came there abominable flesh into my mouth. Then he said to me, Lo, I have given you cow's dung for man's dung, and you will prepare your bread therewith. Moreover, he said to me, Son of man, behold, I will break the staff of bread in Jerusalem, and they will eat bread by weight and with care, and they will drink water by measure and with astonishment, that they may want bread and water, and be astonished one with another, and consume away for their iniquity. Chapter 5. And you, son of man, take you a sharp knife, take you a barber's razor, and cause it to pass upon your head and upon your beard. Then make you balances to weigh and divide the hair. You will burn with fire a third part in the midst of the city, when the days of the siege are fulfilled. And you will take a third part and smite about it with a knife, and a third part you will scatter in the wind. And I will draw out a sword after them. You will also take thereof a few in number, and bind them in your skirts. Then take of them again, and cast them into the midst of the fire, and burn them in the fire. For thereof will a fire come forth into all the house of Israel. This says our Father in heaven, this is Jerusalem. I have set it in the midst of the nations and countries that are round about her. And she has changed my judgments into wickedness more than the nations, and my statutes more than the countries that are round about her. For they have refused my judgments and my statutes. They have not walked in them. Therefore this says our Father in heaven, because you multiplied more than the nations that are round about you, and have not walked in my statutes, neither have kept my judgments, neither have done according to the judgments of the nations that are round about you. Therefore this says our Father in heaven, behold, I, even I, am against you, and will execute judgments in the midst of you in the sight of the nations. And I will do in you that which I have not done. And whereunto I will not do any more the like, because of all your abominations. Therefore the fathers will eat the sons in the midst of you, and the sons will eat their fathers. And I will execute judgments in you, and the whole remnant of you will I scatter into all the winds. Wherefore, as I live, says our Father in heaven, surely, because you have defiled my sanctuary with all your detestable things, and with all your abominations, therefore will I also diminish you. Neither will my eye spare, neither will I have any pity. A third part of you will die with the pestilence, and with famine will they be consumed in the midst of you. And a third part will fall by the sword round about you. And I will scatter a third part into all the winds, and I will draw out a sword after them. This will my anger be accomplished, and I will cause my fury to rest upon them. And I will be comforted, and they will know that I, your Father in heaven, have spoken it in my zeal, when I have accomplished my fury in them. Moreover, I will make you waste, and a reproach among the nations that are round about you, in the sight of all that pass by. So it will be a reproach, and a taunt, an instruction, and an astonishment to the nations that are round about you, when I will execute judgments in you, in anger, and in fury, and in furious rebukes. I, your Father, have spoken it. When I will send upon them the evil arrows of famine, which will be for their destruction, in which I will send to destroy you, and I will increase the famine upon you, and will break your staff of bread. So will I send upon you famine and evil beasts, and they will bereave you, and pestilence and blood will pass through you, and I will bring the sword upon you. I, your Father in heaven, have spoken it. Chapter 6. And the word of our Father in heaven came to me, saying, Son of man, set your face toward the mountains of Israel, and prophesy against them, and say, You mountains of Israel, hear the word of our Father in heaven. This says our Father in heaven to the mountains, and to the hills, to the rivers, and to the valleys, Behold, I, even I, will bring a sword upon you, and I will destroy your high places, and your altars will be desolate, and your images will be broken, and I will cast down your slain men before your idols, and I will lay the dead carcasses of the children of Israel before their idols, and I will scatter your bones round about your altars. In all your dwelling places the cities will be laid waste, and the high places will be desolate, that your altars may be laid waste and made desolate, and your idols may be broken and cease, and your images may be cut down, and your works may be abolished, and the slain will fall in the midst of you, and you will know that I am your Father in heaven. Yet will I leave a remnant, that you may have some that will escape the sword among the nations, when you will be scattered through the countries. And they that escape of you will remember me among the nations, whether they will be carried captives, because I am broken with their whorish heart, which has departed from me, and with their eyes, which go a-whoring after their idols, and they will loathe themselves for the evils which they have committed, and their abominations. And they will know that I am your Father in heaven, and that I have not said in vain that I would do this evil to them. This says our Father in heaven, Smite with your hand, and stamp with your foot, and say, Alas, for all the evil abominations of the house of Israel, for they will fall by the sword, by the famine, and by the pestilence. He that is far off will die of the pestilence, and he that is near will fall by the sword, and he that remains and is besieged will die by the famine. This will I accomplish my fury upon them. Then will you know that I am your Father in heaven, when their slain men will be among their idols, round about their altars, upon every high hill, and all the tops of the mountains, and under every green tree, and under every thick oak, the place where they did offer sweet savor to all their idols. So will I stretch out my hand upon them, and make the land desolate, yea, more desolate than the wilderness, toward Diblath and all their habitations, and they will know that I am your Father in heaven. Chapter 7. Moreover, the word of our Father in heaven came to me, saying, Also, you, Son of man, this says our Father in heaven, to the land of Israel, an end. The end is come upon the four corners of the land. Now is the end come upon you, and I will send my anger upon you, and will judge you according to your ways, and will recompense upon you all your abominations. And my eye will not spare you, neither will I have pity, but I will recompense your ways upon you, and your abominations will be in the midst of you, and you will know that I am your Father in heaven. This says our Father in heaven, and evil, and only evil, behold, is come. An end is come. The end is come. It watches for you. Behold, it is come. The morning is come to you, O you that dwell in the land. The time is come. The day of trouble is near, and not the sounding again of the mountains. Now will I shortly pour out my fury upon you, and accomplish my anger upon you, and I will judge you according to your ways, and will recompense you for all your abominations. And my eye will not spare, neither will I have pity. I will recompense you according to your ways, and your abominations that are in the midst of you. And you will know that I am your Father in heaven, that smites. Behold, the day, behold, it is come, The morning is gone forth, the rod has blossomed, pride has budded. Violence is risen up into a rod of wickedness. None of them will remain, nor of their multitude, nor of any of theirs, neither will there be wailing for them. The time is come, the day draws near. Let not the buyer rejoice, nor the seller mourn, for wrath is upon all the multitude thereof. For the seller will not return to that which is sold, although they were yet alive. For the vision is touching the whole multitude thereof, which will not return. Neither will any strengthen himself in the iniquity of his life. They have blown the trumpet, even to make all ready, but none goes to the battle. For my wrath is upon all the multitude thereof. The sword is without, and the pestilence, and the famine within. He that is in the field will die with the sword, and he that is in the city, famine and pestilence will devour him. But they that escape of them will escape, and will be on the mountains like doves of the valleys, all of them mourning, every one for his iniquity. All hands will be feeble, and all knees will be weak as water. They will also gird themselves with sackcloth, and horror will cover them, and shame will be upon them all faces, and baldness upon all their heads. They will cast their silver in the streets, and their gold will be removed. Their silver and their gold will not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of our Father in heaven. They will not satisfy their souls, neither fill their bowels, because it is the stumbling block of their iniquity. As for the beauty of his ornament, he set it in majesty, but they made the images of their abominations and of their detestable things therein. Therefore have I set it far from them, and I will give it into the hands of the strangers for a prey, and to the wicked of the earth for a spoil, and they will pollute it. My face will I turn also from them, and they will pollute my secret place, for the robbers will enter into it and defile it. Make a chain, for the land is full of bloody crimes, and the city is full of violence. Wherefore I will bring the worst of the heathen, and they will possess their houses. I will also make the pomp of the strong to cease, and their holy places will be defiled. Destruction comes, and they will seek peace, and there will be none. Mischief will come upon mischief, and rumor will be upon rumor. Then will they seek a vision of the prophet, but the law will perish from the priest, and counsel from the ancients. The king will mourn, and the princes will be clothed with desolation, and the hands of the people of the land will be troubled. I will do to them according to their way, and according to their deserts will I judge them, and they will know that I am your Father in heaven. Chapter 8. And it came to pass in the 6th year, in the 6th month, in the 5th day of the month, as I sat in my house, and the elders of Judah sat before me, that the hand of our Father in heaven fell there upon me. Then I beheld, and lo, a likeness as the appearance of fire, from the appearance of his loins, even downward fire, and from his loins, even upward, as the appearance of brightness, as the color of amber. And he put forth the form of an hand, and took me by a lock of my head. And the Spirit lifted me up between the earth and the heaven, and brought me in the visions of our Father in heaven to Jerusalem, to the door of the inner gate that looks toward the north, where was the seat of the image of jealousy, which provokes to jealousy. And, behold, the glory of our Father in heaven of Israel was there, according to the vision that I saw in the plain. Then said he to me, Son of man, lift up your eyes now the way toward the north. So I lifted up my eyes the way toward the north, and behold, northward at the gate of the altar, this image of jealousy in the entry. He said furthermore to me, Son of man, see you what they do? even the great abominations that the house of Israel commits here, that I should go far off from my sanctuary? But turn you yet again, and you will see greater abominations. And he brought me to the door of the court, and when I looked, behold, a hole in the wall. Then said he to me, Son of man, dig now in the wall. And when I had digged in the wall, behold, a door. And he said to me, Go in, and behold, the wicked abominations that they do here. Behold, the wicked abominations that they do here. So I went in and saw, and behold, every form of creeping things and abominable beasts, and all the idols of the house of Israel portrayed upon the wall round about. And there stood before them 70 men of the ancients of the house of Israel, and in the midst of them stood Jaazaniah, the son of Shaphan, with every man his censer in his hand, and a thick cloud of incense went up. Then said he to me, Son of man, have you seen what the ancients of the house of Israel do in the dark, every man in the chambers of his imagery? For they say, Our Father in heaven sees us not. Our Father has forsaken the earth. He said also to me, Turn you yet again, and you will see greater abominations that they do. Then he brought me to the door of the gate of our father's house, which was toward the north. And behold, there sat women weeping for Tammuz. Then said he to me, Have you seen this, O son of man? Turn you yet again, and you will see greater abominations than these. And he brought me into the inner court of our father's house, and behold, at the door of the temple of our father, between the porch and the altar, were about 25 men with their backs toward the temple of our Father in heaven, and their faces toward the east, and they worshipped the sun toward the east. Then he said to me, Have you seen this, O son of man? Is it a light thing to the house of Judah that they commit the abominations which they commit here? For they have filled the land with violence, and have returned to provoke me to anger, and lo, they put the branch to their nose. Therefore will I also deal in fury. My eyes will not spare, neither will I have pity. And though they cry in my ears with a loud voice, yet will I not hear them. Chapter 9. He cried also in my ears with a loud voice, saying, Cause them that have charge over the city to draw near, even every man with his destroying weapon in his hand. And, behold, 6 men came from the way of the higher gate, which lies toward the north, and every man a slaughter weapon in his hand. And one man among them was clothed with linen, with a writer's inkhorn by his side. And they went in and stood beside the brazen altar. And the glory of our Father in heaven of Israel was gone up from the cherub whereupon he was to the threshold of the house. And he called to the man clothed with linen, which he had the writer's inkhorn by his side. And our Father said to him, Go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. And to the others he said in my hearing, Go you after him through the city and smite. Let not your eyes spare, neither have you pity. Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children and women, but come not near any man upon whom is the mark. And began at my sanctuary. Then they began at the ancient men, which were before the house. And he said to them, Defile the house, and fill the courts with the slain. Go you forth, And they went forth and slew in the city. And it came to pass, while they were slaying them, and I was left, that I fell upon my face and cried and said, Ah, Father, Elohim, will you destroy all the residue of Israel in your pouring out of your fury upon Jerusalem? Then said he to me, The iniquity of the house of Israel and Judah is exceeding great, and the land is full of blood, and the city full of perverseness. For they say, Our father has forsaken the earth, and our father sees not. And as for me also, my eye will not spare, neither will I have pity, but I will recompense their way upon their head. And, behold, the man clothed with linen, which had the inkhorn by his side, reported the matter, saying, I have done as you have commanded me. Chapter 10. Then I looked, and behold, in the firmament that was above the head of the cherubims, there appeared over them as it were a sapphire stone, as the appearance of the likeness of a throne. And he spake to the man clothed with linen, and said, Go in between the wheels, even under the cherub, and fill your hand with coals of fire from between the cherubims, and scatter them over the city. And he went in my sight. Now the cherubims stood on the right side of the house, when the man went in, and the cloud filled the inner court. Then the glory of our Father in heaven went up from the cherub, and stood over the threshold of the house, and the house was filled with the cloud, and the court was full of the brightness of our Father's glory. And the sound of the cherubim's wings was heard even to the outer court, as the voice of the Almighty Elohim when he speaks. And it came to pass that when he had commanded the man clothed with linen, saying, Take fire from between the wheels, from between the cherubims, then he went in and stood beside the wheels. And one cherub stretched forth his hand from between the cherubims to the fire that was between the cherubims, and took thereof, and put it into the hands of him that was clothed with linen, who took it and went out. And there appeared in the cherubims the form of a man's hand under their wings. And when I looked, behold, the 4 wheels by the cherubims, one wheel by one cherub, and another wheel by another cherub, and the appearance of the wheels was as the color of a beryl stone. And as for their appearances, they 4 had one likeness, as if a wheel had been in the midst of a wheel. When they went upon their 4 sides. They turned not as they went, but to the place whether the head looked, they followed it, and turned not as they went. And their whole body, and their backs, and their hands, and their wings, and the wheels were full of eyes round about, even the wheels that they were 4 had. As for the wheels, it was cried to them in my hearing, O wheel. And every one had 4 faces. The first face was the face of a cherub, and the second face was the face of a man, and the third the face of a lion, and the fourth the face of an eagle. And the cherubims were lifted up. This is the living creature that I saw by the river of Kabar. And when the cherubims went, the wheels went by them. And when the cherubims lifted up their wings to mount up from the earth, the same wheels also turned not from beside them. When they stood, these stood. And when they were lifted up, these lifted up themselves also, for the spirit of the living creature was in them. When the glory of our Father in heaven departed from off the threshold of the house, and stood over the cherubims, and the cherubims lifted up their wings, and mounted up from the earth in my sight. When they went out, the wheels also were beside them, and every one stood at the door of the east gate of our Father's house. And the glory of our Father in heaven of Israel was over them above. This is the living creature that I saw under the Elohim of Israel by the river of Kabar, and I knew that they were the cherubims. Every one had 4 faces apiece, and every one 4 wings, and the likeness of the hands of a man was under their wings, and the likeness of their faces was the same faces which I saw by the river of Kabar. Their appearances and themselves, they went every one straight forward. And Father willing, brothers and sisters, we will continue with Ezekiel chapter 11. May our Father, Messiah, and Holy Spirit be with us. Repent, the kingdom of heaven is near. Peace.